Welcome to episode 234 of the Digital Tourism Show, sponsored by Resdy. Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of the Digital Tourism Show. As you can see, still in self-isolation, working from home. So last week we recorded our first ever Digital Tourism Show live, where you guys asked me questions and I hopefully helped answer them. So this special edition is a recording of that live show, so hopefully you enjoy and hopefully it will be the first of many. So stay safe and I'll see you again soon. So thank you everyone for joining us on the first ever Digital Tourism Show live. I hope this all goes well. Never done this at this platform or did a live version of the show before. So we'll see how this goes. Whether we use this platform for a future live show, we shall see. Or if there's an appetite for the live show, we'll hopefully do some more going forward. I have been sent quite a few questions, as you can imagine. I had a form prior to this this video being live, or this webinar, and people had sent in some questions. So I have selected a few questions here, about 5 or 6 questions, which I'll work my way through. But if you do have a question at any point, please do mention it in the chat. I shall hopefully get round to that at some point. I'm going to finish in about an hour's time. Or thereabouts, try and cram in as much as I can. So if you do have a question, as I say, mention it in the chat. But also, if you do want to ask it live on the show, just let me know, and I will ask you to unmute at that point, and then you can ask the question, and hopefully I can help answer that as well. So as I say, this is the first one, so we'll just sort of see how it goes. So what I'll do is I'll just get stuck into the first question. In fact, what I was first say, obviously I'm not in my normal surroundings in the office. I'm doing as many other people are doing just now, is working from home because of the coronavirus. It's been devastating for a lot of different sectors and different businesses, but specifically hospitality and, of course, the tourism activities and travel sector. It's going to be tough roads ahead, but I'm hoping that platforms like this and many other platforms can help offer advice and guidance as much as possible. And actually, what I will also say is, if you keep looking out on the Digital Tourism Show Facebook group, or if you're signed up to my email marketing list, in terms because I offer lots of free marketing advice through my email campaigns on the the tourism marketing.agency website for my agency. If you sign up to the newsletter on there, I send up lots and lots of free advice. Tomorrow, I am launching or sending out to everyone on that list and putting out onto many, many platforms a coronavirus battle plan. So it's like a guide to marketing during this crisis. It's jam-packed full of information in terms of what you can do, and maybe just spurring on some inspiration in different aspects of what you think you can do for your own business in terms of maybe new markets, etc., and what you can do for your own business. So that will be going out tomorrow. It's free. It's going to be a free download for everyone. So please share this guide to everyone you can in your local businesses, your communities. If it helps one person, it's done its job. So that will be released tomorrow, as I say. So if you look out on the tourismmarketing.agency website, tomorrow there will be a link on there for the coronavirus guide as well, which you can then download. So look out for that, and hopefully it will help everyone. And that leads on to the first question. As you can imagine, the coronavirus has been on everyone's minds. So I've received a few questions about the coronavirus. So I have one from Sakiri Kirio, I hope I've pronounced that right, from Discover France, who has asked, what would your advice be for short-term measures for tour operators that may get severely impacted by travel restrictions due to the coronavirus? Now, it's a good question, and I know it's one that's on everyone's lips. My guide, as I say, offers lots of advice that you can take for to help market your business, and maybe some steps that you can maybe think about in terms of your product ranges, as I say. But in terms of the short term, the only thing I could advise on is try to target and create products for the local market. So although tourists might not be able to fly in for various restrictions, especially with flights and destinations going into lockdown, though just a few minutes ago before we came live on air, Spain have announced that all hotels will be closed from the 24th of March. So there's obviously that's going to have a massive impact on many destinations, specifically Spain, but that will happen in many other destinations, I am sure, across the world. So for the short term, the only real option, unless there's some sort of martial law where no one can leave their homes, is that you have to concentrate on the local market. Focus on that. Focus on the local market. Create what products that you can generate to help other businesses in the local market, but also what your locals and people within your destination can do. So, people will be fed up being stuck in their homes in their houses. They will want to be able to get out if they can, if they're allowed to, or they'll want to do something. So targeting your local businesses and your local community with tours, getting them to come out in tours, getting them to come out in small numbers. Always do it in small numbers. So make sure it's small groups. So you're limiting contact. Get them out to take them out on tour as much as you can and support that local community. That would be one aspect you can do short term. And the reason why I'm saying this is, and it's what I'm advising a lot of people, is this is not going to go away, unfortunately, anytime soon. I suspect that this will have a rolling effect across the world for at least 6 months. We're going to sort of see lots of nervous people, lots of nervous tourists not wanting to travel or book any travel for at least 6 months. Again, why I'm saying you need to maybe focus on the local market. But this is going to have a detrimental effect pretty much for most of this season. So what we're advising people is, if you can, set up initiatives just now for 2021. Create early bird discounts in terms of what people can produce and promote. Sorry, Paul, I see that you have this set to presenting. If you can make sure that you're not presenting at the moment. So being able to cater for the local market, as I say, for 2021, or for your future market, for 2021. Focus on that. Focus on early bird discounts to try and drum up as much business as possible and generate cash flow now for bringing in deposits. Even look at things like subscription payments, allowing your potential customers to pay over a longer term to allow you to generate some sort of cash flow just now. Like I said, I know it's not going to be easy. Staff will no doubt have to be laid off. You'll probably have to lay off certain tour guides, or at least put them on a break for a time being, especially if your worst affected areas will have to do something like that. But look at the various options. There's no right or wrong option here. If you want your business to survive, you're going to have to do things that you maybe not necessarily have do just now. So looking at local markets, looking at creating extended cancellation policies, looking at offering subscription-based model where you can take payments over a longer period. So when things do improve, customers can then select a date and book up a tour at that time. Whatever it takes to make your business survive, that's what you have to do. So my guide, as I say, which will be released tomorrow across various different platforms, will offer more advice in terms of how you can market your business during the coronavirus. And hopefully, as I say, if it helps one person, hopefully it will help. So, but in the short term, local is the way to go, but also thinking about marketing for next season at the moment. So in terms of the coronavirus, short term, local markets. Obviously, this is dependent on any lockdowns or anything that your government's put in place. But look at what you can do long term for the next season. So that would probably be the best thing you can do at the moment. So I'm going to move on to the second question, and that was from Keith Swenson. Hopefully I pronounced that one right. Who is from Stonehorse, Mongolia. Keith, I'm going to ask you to unmute if you can, and then you can ask your question live on there.
Great, thanks for that. and I hope everybody makes it through this coronavirus issue, because we're dealing with it the same way everybody else is. The question I have is that we use social media a great deal, as I suppose everybody else does. But the focus of my question was on Facebook and how we can use Facebook to better market ourselves and basically to get more bookings through Facebook. We have a lot of followers, but it's just not coming through with the bookings that we would anticipate that a social media site like that could generate. And I know you've talked about it before, Chris, how you can improve the social marketing and booking through Facebook. So if we could just go over, hear some ideas from you and some ways we can improve our messaging and get bookers through
Yeah.
the Facebook page.
Yeah, that's a good question. So what I can certainly advise is when it comes to Facebook, Facebook is very different in terms of when it comes to marketing, in terms of the approach you need to take. So unlike something like Google Ads, for example, people are already searching for something specific and maybe already at a stage where they're more inclined to buy because they are actively looking for something. Whereas on Facebook, that's certainly not the case. Though it's a social media platform, they go into Facebook to post up stories, things that's happening in their day, talk to their family and friends, see what's going on with that. So it's not a platform that people go onto necessarily to buy a product. So you have to take them along what I call a journey to first know your business, then trust your business, and then and only then will they be more inclined to buy at that stage. So creating ads to drum up and generate more Facebook followers and things like that is fairly easy, but it actually gets them to buy something. It's a lot more difficult. So as I've mentioned in my book, which is now available for free, again because of the coronavirus, I published my digital copy of my book is now free for anyone to download. Again, you can get that from the tourismmarketing.agency website. That mentions something about what's called a Facebook funnel, and there's actually a help video within that as well as part of the book. So basically, the way the funnel works is it takes your customer along a journey. So that you would first create what I call a high value piece of content, which is normally something like a blog. Something like it would be more aimed like a travel guide about your destination. And what you want to do is set up an initial ad to drive your targeted audience. So for example, say you are in Mongolia. Say most of your customers come from the US, which I know at the moment is a little harder, but say they come from the US. You want to target people in the US or in specific states to visit that travel guide or that landing page that you have created. So try and get as much of that traffic onto your website as possible. So that's what that ad does, and that's what the sole purpose of that ad is, to try and drive people to that landing page. You then want to set up a second ad to ask people to sign up to an email marketing list of more travel guides. So this is giving them something back of value. So we're doing this for a business called Local Food Adventures, who are a food tour company in Oakland. So for them, we're creating a 6-part email series which talks about their destination. Again, very content driven, very sort of along the lines of a travel guide. And these are plain text emails. It looks as if it came from the owner's own email box, set up ahead of time. So these are plain text emails with an email signature at the bottom, asking people to sign up to that. But if they also sign up to that, they are getting a downloadable PDF, which happens to be, because she's in food tours, happens to be a cookbook, and it's offering a select few recipes from the chefs of people who she goes out on tour with, and takes her customers out to visit. So that's to entice them to leave their email address and name to get that download, as well as receive the email marketing list. And that email marketing list will have soft links off to the various products on our website, but it does not sell in any way. It's just basically making reference to things. So that's what that whole premise of that is for. So that's to help build up the trust in your business. You then set up a third ad, and this is to help build up trust. And this ad would normally be either another high value piece of content, but preferably a video, a 60-second video highlighting your experience. It doesn't need to be a polished video. It could be something filmed on an iPhone or a phone. And it's you showing this is what you can see if you go out on tour with me. This is what you can highlight, showing little highlights, maybe little hidden gems that other operators that are in your area don't show. And even if you can, 5 to 10 seconds of that video, it's you filming one of your customers that if you've taken out on tour, offering a little testimonial about how good you are. And that would be part of the sort of the third ad, which would target people who visited the landing page, but also downloaded the guide or signed up to the email marketing list. So what you're doing is you're taking your customers down that journey and taking them down the funnel to weed out the time wasters, people who would never basically buy from you, till you get to the people who really are interested in what you do and who want to buy. So then you would have maybe a fourth ad, or you would have a fourth ad. So you have all these ads running at the same time. So as your customers go down the journey, they will all be served different things at the various times. So by the time you get to the fourth ad, this is when you start more asking for the sale. It's more advertising the product. But because you have warmed them up through the content you have created during that time, they'll be more inclined to buy. And that's what I feel is the best approach when it comes to Facebook advertising. Is something along those lines. Again, Keith, if you download, and for anyone that is listening, if you download the book, which if you haven't already got, which is free, there is you are able to sign up onto the accompanying website for free, and you'll be able to see videos on this as well as some other guides and worksheets as well. So I hope that answers your question in a sort of roundabout way. But the guide in the book should hopefully help you give more information on that.
Great. I mean, we're doing some of the things, we just have to expand it.
Yeah, as I say, I'm happy to offer advice. So if you want to email me and show me maybe in more detail what it is you're doing, I can maybe offer some advice on that in terms of how I would approach it. There might just be one little thing in there that I can maybe say, try this, and that might solve things for you. So feel free to email me and I can certainly maybe go into a little bit more in depth for you.
Great. Yeah, we'll do that.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for asking the question live on the show. So I'm going to go to my next question, which was from Gavin Johnston of Inverness Taxis here in Scotland, where I'm based. And he's asked and this is a question I do get asked a lot of, to be fair, especially from smaller operators or maybe people who are not maybe too au fait with marketing and that type of thing, is where can I find contact details for inbound agents? The only real way is to go out and source that yourself. I think you mean by inbound agents, you mean customers as well, and I think that was mentioned in your question. Is there is nothing out there that you can basically download a list of people who are traveling or who are potential agents or customers, and God forbid, never ever purchase a marketing list. They are a complete waste of time. They're always out of date, and it actually goes against GDPR and everything else these days. So never, ever buy a marketing list. The best, most effective way to do it, similar to what I mentioned in the Facebook funnel, is to have something on your website that offers high value. Have that. I set up a Facebook ad, a Google ad, whatever that would be, to drive targeted traffic, people who you want to target to that piece of content. Get them to sign up to an email marketing list, as long as that provides good content. And then from there, you can start to slowly build up your email marketing lists. And it's one of the reasons why that is part of the funnel. I should have mentioned to Keith there, sorry, is one of the reasons why you build up the email marketing list is you can then upload that information into Facebook to then target those people specifically with other ads and marketing. But not only that, once you get to about 1,000 people on the list, you can then upload that information again into Facebook to create what's called a lookalike audience. And Facebook will then look at your list and find people with similar interests and similar demographics, etc., from that list so you can then build up another list of who is potential customers that you can market to. So that's why these days, email marketing list isn't just about sending out periodic emails. It's such an important aspect which can be used for paid advertising as well. So if you're not already building up email marketing lists, you have to start now. And like I say, when it comes to Facebook, to do that type of thing, you need 1,000 people within your email list, and those 1,000 people all have to come from the same destination. So if you are targeting the US, you need to have 1,000 people on that list from the US, 1,000 people from the UK, 1,000 people from Australia, wherever it is you have to be, wherever it is you're from. That's when Facebook can then use that to then try and find people who are similar interests and everything like that as well. So never buy marketing lists. Use email campaigns. Use content. Build that up yourself. It does take time, but through time you'll have a stronger list that you can then use for your own marketing going forward, and it's the best way you can do it. It seriously is. So the next question is from Valor Saverson. I hope I pronounced that one right. I believe it is who is from your friend in Reykjavik, so from Iceland. How do you think it's best to make customers not be afraid to book on your site? Meaning putting their credit card into a widget on a random site. To be honest, as a question I get asked every now and again as well. I think these days, more and more people are more inclined to book online. That's just tends to be the done thing. In fact, people are getting more confident with booking online. As long as your website has the right security measures in place in terms of SSL certificates. If you're using an external platform for booking, those booking platforms have to abide by strict PCI laws, so they should be fully compliant and secure for that side of things as well. So I don't see it being much of an issue. Maybe for certain demographics, like an older demographic, they're maybe more inclined not, or maybe a little bit more nervous to book online. As long as you give them the peace of mind that it's secure, it should be an issue. Now, certainly one of the things I would say as well is with the content that you put out there, or if your website has shows off good Tripadvisor reviews or whatever platform you use, and you have them in a prominent place on your website that shows you are a trusted company, people won't really have an issue booking with you. As long as you show that you're a trusted company, you show that you have all the restrictions in place in terms of SSL certificates, secure, and your website's not broken. If your website is broken in any way, or the purchase journey is terrible, or if you click, which I've seen many times before, if you click a book button but it goes off to some strange looking website that wasn't the website that someone was on initially, that can also install distrust in your brand, because people think, where am I going? Has this website been hacked? Has this been this? Has this been that? So just make sure that you're doing everything that you can with your website that makes it not broken, it makes it the user journey as good as possible, and people will book. Highlight reviews, show your worth, show your trust, and people will book from you. Okay, so next question. Ross Canfield from MMJ. What is the 3 most efficient ways for a new business to spend marketing dollars to attract paying guests? It's a good question. 3 ways. First way would be Facebook. Facebook is, in my opinion, the cheapest, most effective, or it can be most effective if done right, and most targeted marketing platform out there. So if you're a new business, if you're going to do any paid advertising whatsoever, make it Facebook. No, don't get me wrong. Google Ads is vastly important for many businesses. We do a lot of Google Ads for our own customers, and they see great success with it. But you do need to have a decent budget for the most part when it comes to Google Ads, because you're going against OTAs for some of the time. You're going against other businesses who are vying for that same and bidding for that same real estate on Google's first page. So if you can afford Google Ads, certainly do it. But I would say Facebook is certainly the cheapest, most effective way for any business, especially those that are starting out. So I would certainly do that. And the Facebook funnel would be one of them. One of the other ways I would say to spend on marketing is, and it's one that a lot of people don't do because it doesn't give them instant inquiries or instant bookings or anything like that, would be SEO and content, you have to think long term. You have to think what it is, where is your business going to be in 12 months' time. If you can create a stronger organic presence on Google, for example, it will set you up better in the long run. So Facebook advertising would certainly be the first one I would suggest. SEO and writing really good content, publishing that content on your website, and making sure your website is optimized would be the second thing I would highly suggest that you work on. SEO and content should always be worked on while you're paid advertising. Your paid advertising should be hopefully bringing in inquiries and revenues quicker, if not instantly, or at least over a short period of time. While that's happening, work on your SEO and content at the same time. So for longer term and longer strategy, that's where that will come into play. To give you a prime example, for my own business, we in the past used to do lots of Google ads, Facebook advertising, that type of thing, as any business would. For the last 2.5, 3 years, I've been putting out, I made a conscious decision to put out lots and lots of free content. So through my audio and video podcast, the Digital Tourism Show, through all the blogs that I write, through my book, through the guide, the coronavirus guide that I'm going to release tomorrow, as well as a whole host of other webinars and everything else. Because I put out so much content, most, if not all of the inquiries my business now gets is through, if not word of mouth, it's through the content. Someone has saw a piece of content, saw one of my videos, read one of my blog posts, read my book, and they come and they make an inquiry through my website. My business pretty much spends no money on paid advertising now, because we have spent 2 or 3 years building up our our organic presence rather, on Google, and just our presence in general in terms of my own personal brand, the brand of the business, highlighting why we feel we are good at what we do, highlighting my own expertise, et cetera, et cetera. So if you can do that, building up your SEO and your content, it's why my book says that you should run a tourism business. You should become a media company. And by becoming a media company is you're putting out lots and lots of content relevant to what you do, which supplements what you do as a tourism business, as a tour and operator, as an activity business. By becoming a media company, that's what will set you up long term. It will make you a stronger business, especially through times like what we are at now with the coronavirus. It's vastly important, and I think now more and more businesses will see that because of the pandemic we're in just now and the crisis we're in just now, that the content and SEO is going to be key for a lot of businesses going forward. So SEO certainly be the second one. In terms of the third one, I would say video. Video is hands down one of the best marketing platforms you can use, marketing tools rather you can use. So putting out lots of really good, meaningful content from the perspective of you, of your tour guides, of your staff, because it helps humanize your brand, it helps humanize your business. People buy people at the end of the day. Gone are the days of faceless corporations. People trust other businesses if they can see a person at the other end of the website, the phone, or the content. By showing people and humanizing your brand is, in my opinion, the best way forward. So video is one of the best ways you can do that. And again, it's one of the reasons why I rely so heavily on video, as well as audio content. So those would be the three that I would suggest. Zach, so I'm just going to grab a little quick cup of coffee to wet my throat. Okay, so Zach from Knox Brew Tours, thank you, Zach. What is the most important thing on your website? Good question. I would actually say there's more than one. But if I had to pick one, I would say it is. If I have to pick one, I would say it is reviews. But having your reviews prominent, specifically on your homepage. Now, I'm probably right in my thought here that most of you guys watching this, who have their own websites, and you hopefully most of you have really good reviews on Tripadvisor, for example, that you get your Tripadvisor badge of excellence, or your 5-star badge for your business. And what normally happens is you stick it down in the footer of your website where nobody sees it. It's the worst place you could put your review badge or anything that's there to help build trust in your business. So what I always advise is, especially on the homepage, is when you have your main menu at the top, then you have your big image or video banner with the text overlaying that. Say you have that there. Right underneath that, as long as it's still within the viewable area of the homepage, when someone lands on your initial homepage from the browser, that initial screen, you have a bar just under your main banner showing badges of your reviews from Tripadvisor, Facebook, 5-star Tripadvisor, 5-star Facebook, 5-star Google, 4.5, whatever it would be. That should be visible. So we call that in the trade above the fold. So above the fold is the old term for when newspapers get folded over and they're put on the shelf. That's the above the fold because it's before the page, the newspaper gets folded. So that's that initial screen that people land on their home on your homepage or on your landing page. Make sure they see your logo, navigation, your main banner with some good text, and then your reviews straight underneath that. That helps build up trust initially in the eyes of your customers. So if someone sees that, that would be the aspect I would say that you have to have in place on your homepage. Every business should have that. Hopefully, if you have good reviews. So that would be the first thing I would say. If I had to pick another, I would say it's a user journey. I hate to see websites with menu systems that are drop-down menus that are 3 and 4 deep. Things, especially when it comes to mobiles, it makes it really, really hard to navigate. So if you can not have really complicated menu systems on your website, when someone gets to your book button or your inquiry button, they should get there in no more than 3 clicks. So someone lands on your homepage, they maybe want to scroll down a little bit, find out more about your business, and then they see a product. Your homepage should always have at least 2 or 3 main products on your homepage. Click on one of the products, that's your first click. They view the information there about the product. They're happy with that product. Your book button is at the side, and then they click book or inquiry. So it can actually be done within 2 clicks. But if you have to go through an extra step, 3 clicks at the very, very most. So that's for 2 reasons. One is because it makes the user journey more fluid and quicker for your potential customer to get to your book button quicker and make the inquiry or book quicker. But also when it comes to Google, if your pages are considered more than 3 levels deep within your structure of your website, Google sees them as less relevant. So if you have main product pages that are 4, 5, 6 pages deep, they're not going to be seen as well as pages on the first, second, or third sort of structure. So that's the other thing that I would say. Make sure your navigation is clear, it's clean. Your main product pages are not more than 3 pages deep. That would be, you asked for 1, I've given you 2. So hopefully that helps. So the last question I have here on my list, before I move on to any questions that you guys may have that you want me to answer, is from Kay Hoying from K Tours. Hi, Kay. Again, I hope I pronounced your last name right. What's your advice to stand out and compete with OTAs through organic search results for my website? Do I have to pay for ads in order to be competitive? Good question. Unfortunately, well, I'll say what I'm about to say prior to what has happened with the coronavirus. Prior to the coronavirus, I would say that you will never compete directly with an OTA in paid advertising. They have deeper pockets. They have more resources. And although I won't mention some, it's something I might be producing soon. I have noticed that some OTAs, they don't just have their own website in terms of people landing on, say, for example, Tripadvisor, viewing a listing and making a booking. They are actually, this is not Tripadvisor, it's someone else I found. They are actually creating landing pages specifically for other destinations. So they're not only creating ads for their main platform, they are creating ads for landing pages they have specifically created for specific areas. The Colosseum being one, or the Rome, for example. So they're trying to flood Google with as much paid advertising space as they can, which is pushing everyone else down. It's driving the cost per click up, making it harder for operators to compete. They are doing this to try and fight against other OTAs to try and get them out of that space, that real estate. But unfortunately, it's obviously having an effect on operators as well. When it comes to organic reach, this is where you can still compete against an OTA. If you have good content, if it's well written, don't get me wrong, SEO and organic ranking can take and does take a long time to rank. Gone are the days where you can post up something and it can rank within a couple of weeks or a couple of months. That very rarely happens. From research, it could take over a year for a page to properly rank on page one if it's been optimized correctly. So it is a long-term strategy, but it's something that every business needs to do and should do. But I would say that's one of the aspects that you can compete against an OTA, because OTAs will have content that's similar to other OTAs because it's been that content that's been put out through a channel manager and it's just been distributed out to everyone. If you can make your content more unique and relevant on your own website, and it's well optimized, and you have a really good website and an optimized website, that's where you can still compete with. It does take time, but you can still compete. Now, in saying that, now with the advent of the coronavirus, and I actually mentioned this in the guide that I am releasing tomorrow, this opens up some opportunities for you guys, the tour operators, the activity providers, to gain more ground for direct bookings. Why? Because OTAs or any rest system, OTAs, you name it, they are also going to be massively impacted by the coronavirus. So if operators aren't getting bookings, the OTAs are certainly not getting bookings. So what they're going to have to do is tailor some of their paid advertising back because they're generating less revenue. They're going to no doubt have to get rid of staff as well, unfortunately. Although I have strong feelings against some of the practices of OTAs, I never want to see anyone out of a job, especially during this time, which would be horrendous. There are opportunities for you now to market direct, because they will be spending less money on advertising. They will be spending less resources on things. So this gives you an opportunity for you to work on your SEO, for you to work on your content, and possibly, if you can afford it, do a little bit more or spend some of your budget on paid advertising to see if you can compete eventually with the OTAs. But certainly on the SEO and organic side of things, there's going to be some opportunities there. So OTAs will be spending less money, and I feel that because of what's happening, I unfortunately feel that one of the OTAs or some res system or whatever it be will unfortunately have to close its doors. As I say, I don't want to see that happening. I'm hoping it does not come to that, but I think we're going to see more fallout from what's happening at the moment. So it's going to open up more opportunities for tour operators to market themselves direct. So that's something I certainly would consider that you guys think about and do. So that was the questions I have here. I can see there's maybe some questions in the chat. Let me just have a wee quick look and see what we have. If you do have a question, put it in the chat and I'll happily sort of see if I can answer them. So Sakiri, so because you were one of the ones that asked the question previously. As far as I know, the Italian government allows tour operators to refuse refunds and only offer rescheduling as an option. In France's recommendation, what is the situation in other countries? What are the tips to handle refund requests to favour rescheduling? Again, I actually mentioned this in the guide. wherever possible. There's two aspects to this. Wherever possible, ask them to postpone to a future date. No, I would hope that most tourists understand what's happening in the industry. If you can guarantee them, or at least say to them and give them peace of mind to sort of say, look, obviously we can't take you out on tour just now. Can we postpone this to a future date? We'll give you credit. So you are able to visit our destination, or you are able to come out on tour with us, we will give you, we'll honour that tour. If anything, I would try and add more value to it. Yes, that may mean more cost to you, but it might mean the difference from them completely cancelling, or for you making either breaking even or making a small piece of revenue from it. So if you can add even more value to it, that could be an extra stop in the tour, or giving them a free lunch, or whatever it would be that would entice your customers. Add more value to it to entice them to not cancel, basically. When it comes to actually cancellations, as you mentioned there, some destinations are saying you can refuse that. I think that's a wrong approach. I know they're doing this to try and safeguard businesses. It's a difficult one, but in my opinion, again, this is just my opinion, I feel that if you are going to battle against your customers and fight against taking all the money and refuse that they can refuse them, that they're going to get the money back, you have essentially lost that customer for life. It's going to damage your brand's reputation. So you have to weigh up what's going to be more important to you in terms of that. If you damage your brand's reputation, you will never see that customer again. They will end up telling other customers, potential people, that you can and give you bad reviews on social media, all these other things as well. You have to weigh up, is that going to be worth it in the long run? It's a difficult one because you want to keep the money for your cash flow and making sure your business survives, but you've also got to think long term. So if it was a possibility of any refunds or cancellations, I would say offer 50%. That may be a good compromise. Give half their money back and just say you've already spent money on things that have been put in place for their tour. We can offer you half the refund. You can even mention to sort of say that certain governments are saying we're not allowed to offer you refunds. No, mention this in your email to them, saying, look, it's Italian government's policy, or it's whatever that your destination's policy, to say we're not allowed to offer you refunds, but we value your custom. We want to see you back. So don't tell our government. I'm going to give you 50% of your money back to hopefully bring you back again. And if you do come back and take out one of our tours, we'll offer you some more added value, whatever that would be down the line. So there's ways you could spin it, marketing wise. It's just how you play it, and it's just how important your brand reputation is. It's a tricky one. It really is. There is no right and wrong. You have to just go with your gut and sort of see what one's going to be better for you. But personally, for me, brand reputation is highly important. If you want to try and get that customer back, that's what I would sort of do. Try and offer some sort of refund. If they are determined to ask for a refund, give them 50% back at least, and see how that goes. I hope that helps. Okay. Has this been recorded? Yes, it is. The video has been recorded and will be published within the next couple of weeks or so. So, second question, again from Sakiri. What are the cultural norms regarding marketing in the Corona period? Any tips on how to be sensitive to the urgency and still keep marketing? As I said at the very beginning of the video, I think you might have missed that. There is a guide. I have put together a guide called the Coronavirus Battle Plan. So it's a marketing guide to help understand how you can market your business during this period. That's been released tomorrow. So this will be out on my website, other websites, Facebook. It'll be everywhere. on other platforms like Tourpreneur and Arrival and you name it. So it's going to be out everywhere. So this is a guide on how you can market your business during this crisis. So that's what I would say is download that and see if that helps your business at all. Not only that, if you haven't already, I've got a copy of my book. If you go to our website, you can actually get a free digital copy of my book, which will offer lots and lots of free advice on how you can obviously market your business as well. But anyone who does sign up to get that free copy of that book will automatically get the coronavirus guide when that is released tomorrow as well. So look out for that guide, and that will hopefully help you in terms of marketing. But in terms, just to quickly answer part of your question, do not stop marketing. I know it will be hard for some businesses, especially with cash flow, specifically with revenue not coming in or potentially not coming in. But do not stop marketing, even if it's just SEO and content, as I mentioned. If you stop marketing completely, you may as well give up in your business, in my opinion. It opens up opportunities for your competitors to gain ground on you, for those competitors who will not stop marketing. So if you can, and if you can help it, do not stop marketing. You may rein back some of the marketing. You may try different things, but whatever you do, if you can, do not stop marketing. There was actually someone on one of the Arrival webinars recently who mentioned, yeah, just stop marketing. What's the point? They have nothing to sell. Every business has something to sell, whether it's through a crisis or not. And I thought it was the worst piece of advice I've ever heard in my life. And I do not say that lightly, and I do not mean any offence to the person who said that. But for me, it's the worst piece of advice you could give any business. If you stop marketing now, you may as well put the nail in the coffin of your business. That's as blunt as I can get. No problem. You are very, very welcome. Thank you. I'm glad you like my accent. Hopefully you can understand it. Ander has a question. As you mentioned that due to coronavirus, it's better to focus on 2021 booking. Is it better to generate general content like cultural facts, gastronomic issues, recipes to attract people to our website rather than focusing more on posts to sell products to our clients? No one will book with us. Yes. Focus content on booking for 2021. Now, this is not to say that we are not able to hopefully generate bookings later in 2020, but no one knows how long this virus is going to last. I personally feel we're going to be in this for at least 6 months. And some people, Peter Syme, for example, have mentioned that this could take 18 months to fully recover from this. And I was watching the news channels here today that because of this is a virus, that it can come back again in the winter time again. So the only thing we can really plan is for 2021, in my opinion, for any sort of safeguards. And it's planning for that. It's taking money now for future bookings if you can. Even if you're a day tour company, future plan for 2021 for people coming to your destination. Focus on locals as well to try and drum up interest. My guide will give you some information on that. But now is the prime time to get out really inspirational content, because you've got to remember is if people are stuck in their homes, I am working from home just now. We're trying to not spread anything out there, although I don't have anything. We're trying to obviously not catch it and spread that around. Everyone's working from home. Everyone will be bored. Everyone will be going out of their minds, being stuck at home all the time. So they are going to be suffering the web more and more often. They are going to be looking for inspiration of where they can travel to further down the line. So anything that you can do content-wise that gives them inspiration, gives them cultural facts, as you say, gives them recipes. If you're a food tour company, it gives them things that they can do and things to remember your business by. So when it does come round to the time when they can book or when they are more inclined to book, they will remember you, and they will remember that, okay, that company put out a lot of really good content. They seem to have survived this crisis. Let's book with them for 2021. So yeah, inspirational content, videos, written content, blogs, as much as you can. Show the life of your tour guide, show behind the scenes of your business, how you're coping throughout all this. Play on the fact that you want your guests and your tourists and your customers to come back again to help rebuild your communities. Mention that in your marketing. No, Australia have done that a fantastic job with that after the forest fires and now coronavirus. They're trying to get locals to help strum up business locally and get local business to help fund the businesses that are there and keep businesses afloat. Do similar marketing. Play on that, and you will hopefully come out stronger in the long run when it comes to when we get out of this mess. But hopefully, we will still be able to sell products and market for things happening at summertime onwards from 2020. But like I say, no one knows what's going to happen this year. So my approach for most businesses is to say, in the meantime, for your destination, forget about 2020, look at 2021. If we are able to do anything with 2020, see that as a bonus. And we'll deal with that when it happens if we are able to market for that again and create bookings and generate income, etc. from 2020. Think of that as a bonus. Aim for 2021. That would be the advice I would give. Let me see if we get any more questions before we finish. We've got about another 5 minutes. So if you have, I don't see any more questions there. If you do have a question, feel free to post up. In the meantime, I hope this is the first ever digital tourism show live. I hope to do more going forward, specifically because of, or especially because of what's going on, being stuck at home, etc. Hopefully do more of these videos online. Whether it's going to be through this platform or not, I'm not too sure. I need to see how well this this platform has been perceived by everyone. I may use a different platform because I might think it might be open to more and more people from what I can see. But I hope this has been useful. Please do let me know in the chat or email me at chris@tourismmarketing.agency what you felt. Did you like this video? Did you like this live edition of the show? Was it useful? What would you like to see differently? Maybe in the second show. If you have any questions I didn't get round to, please send them across. I want to try and offer as much advice during this crisis, after this crisis, as much as I can to try and help everyone out there. I want to see everyone survive. I hope your business survives. I hope my business survives. It's unprecedented times that we're in at the moment. So let's all try to work together, try to get as much advice out there as possible. If you do have questions, my Facebook group for the Digital Tourism Show, post them on there. Email me, as I say, chris@tourismmarketing.agency. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on pretty much any channel that you come across. Feel free to send me the questions and I will do my best to answer them. So I've got no more questions. Joe, Ander, you're very, very you're very, very welcome. Hopefully we can do this again. And I think we'll just sign off now. So until the next show, in fact, what we'll do before we go is we have a few videos going up over the next couple of weeks. So we've got some new chats going on with Elisa from Bites of Boston. We have Vicky Bruce from a whiskey tour, McLean and Bruce, which is a whiskey tour company here based in Scotland, what they're doing in terms of their marketing, etc., and a whole host of other videos as well. So there's going to certainly be lots and lots more content going out over the next few weeks. So look out for them. And yeah, thank you to Resday, who are one of our sponsors for March. That's been a great help. So thank you, Resday, for that. So until the next live show, I shall hopefully speak to you all soon. And like I say, email me any questions, and we'll hopefully we all survive and we all get through this stronger at the other end. Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.